Right, here we are again, live. So yeah, just got a few things on the list to fix one by one. Let's do this one. Right click, upgrade and talent icons at the top left to open in this encyclopedia. So, yeah, how do we do that? Let's see, where else have we got that? So UI, level up, UI, and then we have our buttons. So I think it's probably going to be in level up button. Yeah, here we go. So it's going to be this. Open encyclopedia tab. Open upgrade. So I want to take this. And then we have our talent icon. Talent icon prefab. So we basically want the same thing to happen there. So we go to our prefabs, UI, talent icon. It should be called upgrade icon, but never mind. And yeah, it's got a tooltip handler. Upgrade icon script. I'm not thinking too much about the name. And we'll just put that in our very tidy scripts folder. I think there's two types of people. There's people who are, well, there's three. There's people who are just untidy. There's people who tidy as they go and do everything in a sort of organized way. And then there's people who do it and then tidy later. I'm definitely the third type. As in, same with like Factorio and stuff. Like, I'll make it work and then have a look for improvements and tidy it. And in some cases, I guess it's less about which one's quicker, which one is more efficient, and which one is more like sacrifices less mental load. Like, my process of doing something is not the same as tidying something. So we have upgrade icon script, and we're just going to copy from, so we want this one, and then, yeah, it was, we've lost it, talent icon. Okay, what was it? Level up button. There we are. We need this as well. Don't fully, yeah, I mean, it's pointer handler. And then on pointer click. And then we can just get straight to this. Okay. Okay, and now when we make it, display 4 weapon slots. Okay, so yeah, this is horrible repeated code. So that's for, okay, yeah, and that's for artifacts, the last one. Okay, so we don't have encyclopedia for artifacts at the moment, I don't think, yeah. Or do we? Let me, I can check in game. Artifacts currently not in the encyclopedia. Get to from artifacts, picking, and from. Okay, so we need to go in here. So new talent icon, don't get component upgrade icon script. Beautiful, beautiful code. Dot upgrade equals. Okay, that should work. This is not great code, but it'll do. And then for the artifact, we will put in a stub. And is the heating still on? No. It's quite warm today. It's nice. Actually don't need this, I'm not listening to anything. Right, open artifact and yeah, so we'll do that later. But for now, right click, top left to open it. So I'm just going to expect that to work. Should we test it? automatic, I'm gonna probably run into a different bug on the way in. That's my feeling. Yep. That's odd. Talent icon. So GM. Talent icon prefab. Oh dear. It's really annoying that it's not easier to make those collapsible. GM. GM. I should tidy this list up because it's difficult to find things. Why can't I even find that? Header hero prefabs. Hero prefabs. Hero prefabs. It's not there. Just above heroes. Okay, for some reason that header's not there. Hero prefabs should be there, so it should be talent icon. And the talent icon does indeed have upgrade icon script. So what's the problem? Don't know why this isn't working. Let's find out. So like Schrodinger's bug. It's like, except it's the reverse, that if you look at it, it's not Schrodinger, but it's that one. If you look at it, then it's a bug, and if you don't look at it, then it's not a bug. So if I look at it, it's not a bug. That's odd. That is odd. So apparently it's just working. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fix SFX for explosion. So for some reason, when someone explodes, so let's have a look at like explosion, make AoE effect explosion. And so I will just put that in as a cheat. Like that. And I will be needing my headphones now. And let me just double check that it is not making a sound. Okay. And then we have this initialize. Okay, and we've got fine. There should be a sound effect playing, but not from the weapon. I guess it should come from the weapon. Open container. Does the AoE effect have Doesn't currently have an audio source. But when I get an item, okay, so I think AoE effect should have an audio source. Yeah. Okay, that's a fairly significant change. So the SFX comes from the weapon audio source, but it never really has to. It can all, because magic attacks always create an AoE effect. So it should happen inside the AoE effect instead. Make AoE effect. Let's just put it right at the top. Make AoE effect. That's effects. Where do we determine shooter? Is that? Okay, shooter, yes, there. Yeah. Make AoE effect on the audio source. So that means I have to go through and have an audio source and attach it on every single one of these. It's not too bad. So for good measure, I'm just going to put it on all of them. I don't think that hurts. And this audio source will not play on awake. And then in each case, I need to do that. I could do it in script, but I think that's easier to do it here. Okay, Mage AoE does have an audio source, and so it doesn't need a second one. So yeah, that's the AoE for the impact. But I think that is coming from projectile. Let's have a look at projectile. Yeah. So that plays the sound effect of the explosion, like when it hits. Okay. So if there is a secondary effect after it hits, it will play that sound effect. So that's why it works for explosive arrow and stuff like that, but we want to... Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, and that will play the audio clip that is attached. That's fine. So on make AoE effect. And I think, yeah, if the clip is null, it doesn't play. Good. Okay. So we need to kind of manually... So yeah, a block splat I guess doesn't. It's not an AoE effect. So it shouldn't actually be there necessarily. Well, okay, there it works. What's the sound effect for the weapon there? We have... hammer whoosh. Is that going to be right? Yeah, I guess that'll work. Should be more of like a crack sound. Just wanted to double check we didn't have something like that. Okay, so... So actually in the weapon container, we still want the sound, just in case that there's two. So there'd be the sound of the movement. No, so we'll just leave that as none, and we can always put one in later, and that's where we would put it. Okay, but then we've got, like, in the case of heal, because the weapon has a sound effect and this has a sound effect, like, we don't want it to play twice. Ugh. Okay, I guess that's fine for now. That was an old placeholder. Okay, but for explosive arrow, we do have the sound effect. But the actual weapon sound effect, yeah, so the weapon sound effect, yeah, that's the same as shooting an arrow. Okay, that's good. Okay. Just so it doesn't bring up a null reference for not having an audio source. Just so I don't have to check. Okay, let's give that a whirl. Might end up feeling a bit too loud, so I'll have to check, like, when there's lots of explosions happening, which certainly can happen. So yeah, I think it just didn't, was giving it a null shooter there. It's quite fun actually. I keep thinking I'm going to hit the goblins. Okay. Right, that's that done. Fix SFX for explosion. Test chain with blocks. So we will do a cheat. Enemy spawner. We go right down. And we'll say test that that's working. So we're going to get zappers right away and see if oh wait, we would have to be fighting against the green beans. Now after lunch, tiredness. Okay, it blocks it. Or it doesn't. Okay. Now let's try. It didn't make much of a noise, did it? Are you getting, yeah. I think I've made some, yeah, some chain attack. I think there was, so I thought I had made mistakes, but actually I don't think I had mistakes. So I think we still had, yeah, so. So if it's not reflected, then we just make one anyway. So it's got some. Be right back. Did Mummy tell you to come and give me a hug? Mwah.
I like you.
Oh, I like you too.
I like you. You like me too?
Of course I do.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's found out that my grandmother just died, but I sort of knew it was coming. Happens to everyone, really, eventually. But yeah, it's still a bit of a right. So I think that was there for a reason. If it's not blocked, then we do in fact make an AoE attack. Because it seemed to have not been working. So yeah, we have to fix chain lightning. In fact, I should have... Okay, that's working as intended. What about if I have a block? Okay, then it still hits for some reason. What I can do is... Wait, is that right? I can put just a debug.log, like a blank one, on the... Wait, did I turn my mic back on? Yeah, I can put one on the make AoE script, and then it will tell me where it's triggering from. Yeah, that shouldn't be happening. Oh, I know what's happened. I've forgotten to put the... So we have defense type, so I need to just put defense type. I need to go through all the weapons and put the right defense type on them. So for the one, it defaults to 0, but so we have sword. I can do it by memory, really. I know all of them, so defense type. Then I think the next ones are, yeah, black beans don't have one, but mirror, I guess, yeah. Okay. Now let's try it. Need to try shield in general. Yep. Ha. Okay. Let's go down to chain. And so it will tell me where that's coming from. That's odd. Yeah, I don't know why it's not working, so... So yeah, defense type of the shield should be 1. So why is it not 1? Oh, I think I... no. I'm confused. I don't know why defense type is not coming up as 1. I think I know why it is. I think it's because it's sort of counting all the ones that aren't weapons as well, and something to do with the weapon speed. So I'm going to see if shield even comes up, because I might have gotten like the yeah, see, I don't know why sword is coming up multiple times. So yeah, why is sword not coming up? And I think it's because like the old check for shield weapon to attack time, but it's less than try block. So I want to see if it is like maybe the attack timer thing's wrong, but that's just the same code that I had before. Weapon dot attack time is less than or equal to 0. So let's just do it like here. Regardless of attack timer. And also I think it's coming up for AoE effect as well, that comes from the shield, which is dodgy. I think that's probably what's happening here. Let me see. I mean, it was working fine before. I just need to make it work like this. Why did that happen twice? A bit lost. Okay, that didn't happen twice. It says sword and shield. Okay. 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 Yeah, because it's going to have a negative value because it's below 0. So it's working for the AoE effect, but it's not working for... I think I kind of know what's going on. I think it's because the AoE effect is happening. And this is where we check for a shield. But it's like... And it was working fine before, but it's like... It's because it's sort of doing it anyway. So like blocking is working. It's the correct defense type. That's not the issue. The issue is just with chain. But it's not even like triggering okay, so it's some nonsense around. Okay, I think I know what's happening. And there's something I changed. It's like it makes an AoE effect. But we don't want it to make. We don't want it to use that version of making an AoE effect. But if it doesn't, but hold on. Yes, it makes the chain effect. Yeah. Because it makes the AoE effect, but that's supposed to just be a visual. And I think that's where the confusion is. So that like it's chaining. Wasn't it yeah, and it's doing damage, but we don't want that. That's not how it's supposed to work. So it was doing damage by making an AoE, which would inherit the damage properties of the weapon. Wait, how did he take damage? It's just not hitting the first target for some reason. Okay, so what if we say yeah, it's doing it on the last one, but it's only doing it, so it's only damaging those. Yeah, okay. I feel like I should like redo this. So we get our list of targets, and that seems to be working. Yeah. And then yeah, so that's working as intended, except for some reason it's not blocking at all. Because it's like, but why? But okay, I see why it's still hurting them somehow. I can guess why. But why is it not blocking? Why is it not deactivating the shield? But why? Why is it? So this is the same code. If I get hit with a melee attack, then it blocks as expected. And it's the same code. Exactly as expected. But if it's a chain attack, no block. just confused. I don't know why it's not working as expected. This happens. I just don't know why it's working for normal attacks, but not for the chain attacks. Like the chain attacks just seem to ignore the shield. Okay. So we don't need to look at that because that's as expected. Okay. That's something. Okay, yeah, and as suspected, it's sort of hitting twice. Okay, so that was the issue there for whatever reason. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so now I know what the problem is. So the chain lightning creates an AoE. An AoE effect. Which is not supposed to happen really. Like what I wanted was just to have the visual. So one is coming from the weapon containers, one is coming from the AoE effect. But what we want is like we shouldn't be making an AoE effect because the AoE effect is triggering this block. Which is possibly why I didn't do it like this before, but so we trigger the block. Should we just quickly, so before we fix this, let's just try with projectiles. Let's just make sure that works. Okay, why was the explosion happening? Why was the explosion happening? That's interesting. Why on earth was that happening? That's odd. That's very odd. Just while you're fixing one bug, it's just like randomly explosions. Like, yeah, working fine. Except there's the odd explosion. Oh, it's probably because I picked that artifact without looking. That's going to be why. It's because I did actually just have that artifact. Okay, so at least for AoE and for projectiles, it's working as expected. But for the chain attacks, it's creating a little AoE. So the thing is, this AoE does have a little bit of range. Now I'm just thinking to myself whether that's a problem mechanically, like balance-wise. Should the chain lightning create a tiny explosion on the character that then disappears? Or is it fine for it to just be a visual effect? So we want it to like do damage. It's a shame we got rid of melee attack early because that's essentially what we want it to do. So we want it to do damage. Let's just test that debug. So what I expect to see is it will say that it's blocked. But then there'll be a different bit from the AoE script, which yeah, I've already checked that, but let me just check again. It's turning out to be way more sticky than I thought. Yeah, and because I got rid of the debug doclog on the other thing. Okay, so that's correct. So it is blocking. Oh, it's just... Hit last target. This is a thing that needed to be done. If I don't have this, then like it doesn't hit. Let's just test that. Let's test that theory out. So basically what I should see is it will zap me, but it won't damage me, even if I have like a shield or not. Yeah. Oh, it is working. Oh, interesting. So that must be like... I remember like I had to add that at some point because it was like it just wasn't... Okay, so maybe that's fine then. Yeah, I remember I had to add that for some reason because of stuff. Okay. All right. So yeah, when it hits, make the AoE effect. Okay. 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 That looks like it's all working. So the AoE effect, why? Because, okay, so I got into thinking that it was because I was making the AoE effect, which was then checking again if they were blocking or not. Which now I'm wondering why that isn't the case. Like, because I felt like the AoE effect was happening in addition. Is it because... Yeah, because... Oh, no. Okay, well, if it's working, I'm not going to question it too much. Because I was thinking... If the AoE... like, it's making an AoE effect on the character... which it's not doing if it blocks, but if it hits, It's like not doing it, like it's not doing any damage anyway. It just does the AoE effect. So it creates an AoE effect, but it won't create that AoE effect if it's been blocked. Okay, yeah, that's why it's like that, because it's not even making that effect if it's been deflected. Yeah, so that makes sense. So that does actually just make sense. Okay, all right. Make lightning yellow. Okay, let's just whack that one out. So I just need to go in. So the thing is, heal is yellow. Heal should be green. So what I need to do is go into any visual like heal effects and lightning effects. So we go, yeah, so heal should be like yellow. Sorry, heal should be like green. I just need to go into these sprite sheets and take all of these colors. Okay, I need to save these colors. Yeah, okay, let's just make them fresh. So we edit this palette, make heal green, so sort of slightly towards the yellow, about in the middle, heal green 1, and heal green. So we'll take this and then make it lighter. So then maybe the first one should be more green. No, this should be, so yeah, we make another one that is like that one, that is brighter. Yeah, so that is heal green. And I know there's some, if you're an artist, a game artist or something, you'd spend weeks and weeks, or like at least a day, figuring out the right colors for these things. But like we can fix it later. It just needs to make sense. Okay, so let's find any other healing effects. Holy Nova. So yeah, heal should be consistently green. I mean, you could go with pink, but I think green sort of makes more sense. Okay, so that's, oh, we only need to export this each time. Holy Nova, heal Nova. Yeah. Chain heal. So is there any more healing? Holy beam isn't really a thing anymore. Like it just doesn't happen. But let's do it anyway. Okay, and then I'm not even going to export. Actually, yeah, let's export it. Fine. Holy beam. Now let's find. So our lightning effects. Chain, lightning, chain. So this should now be yellow. Yellow and white. Yeah, that works. Chain lightning hit. Probably should go for the white with the heel as well. So it would be this bright yellow and white, and then the heel would be like this bright green and white. Well, let's see how it looks. So we have chain lightning. And so then we need to go into the weapons. So our heel would look like so should this be white? Like proper white. And then this would be the light green? No, let's do as we planned. Okay, and then lightning, well yeah, that's an orc weapon, so we find green weapons. I think I'm gonna have to do that all again, never mind. So green weapons we have yeah. I think we have chain heel, there it is. Okay, that works. Okay. Yeah. Did I not save it just now? Oh, okay, I think I just forgot to do yellow for lightning staff. Okay, let me just double check because I have a feeling that the sprite sheets are going to be all funky now. No? Okay, so far so good. Yeah. Okay. Alright, and let me check. Yeah, okay. Right, I think that works. Make lightning yellow, done. Unless there's some like talents or something, I don't think so. Artifacts. Yep. This one I think there is trickiness, so I need to make sure I've put so I need to do it 7 columns. What? Did that just not do anything at all? Yeah, 7 columns. Yeah, okay, good. All right. So yeah, lightning is now yellow. I mean, because lightning has to be yellow because frost is blue. I mean, I could make like, I mean, so I'm thinking of other games like maybe Warcraft. Like I think both Frost and Lightning are blue, but the art is of a high enough fidelity and the colors are sort of distinct enough that you don't ever get them confused. But just because we have this parity, I mean, it's done now. It's done now. I can change it back later, but like, yeah, that I think that works. That helps. That's clear. Probably end up overhauling the whole thing, but it's nice to sort of get closer to where we're going. All right. So, okay, we've got this one where we want to say that the encyclopedia should contain artifacts. So let me. Do we have an encyclopedia? Yeah, heroes, factions, stages, artifact. Yeah, so you pick your faction. Okay, so yeah, hero sprite is just a picture of. I mean, it should be. Um, Okay, so hopefully what that will do is we'll get the first hero of the faction. Just a very minor thing, but I think it's a bit weird to see Sean as the hero when you open up the Green Beans faction. Lovely. Okay, so we want to see stages there as well. Add artifacts. So we would have artifacts and stages in that root menu. So also back. So if I'm in here, oh, I felt like that wasn't working before. Huh. Interesting. So I think it's something to do with that. I'm just curious as to why. I mean, this isn't important. This isn't what I was here to do today, but kind of fix bugs as you see them if they're nice and quick. So here we go back, yeah. So factions. We were in Encyclopedia State factions. And then we went into Green Beans and we pressed back and our state was navigations. And then we went into weapons and we went back and our thing was weapons, and now it still thinks it's weapons. So hate that. I mean, I'll just put it here, like, just to make damn sure. And this will apply even if I like overhaul this UI a bit, which I do plan to do. This will still apply. Yeah, that should be fine. All right. Okay, so these go together. Add artifacts to encyclopedia. So that is going into this UI and making it so that from the root menu there, you would have all of your factions, but then you would also have artifacts, or there would be a root menu behind that, factions, artifacts, stages. And so what you would click on human beings and you would just get a list of like who's in that faction, maybe with some info on the side as well. So maybe we can improve that in general, but I think ultimately you're just navigating towards the upgrades. And then so add artifacts and stages to the encyclopedia. And then when we look at factions, we could potentially have bigger buttons that actually just have a little short blurb about the faction on them. Because it's quite simple. It's not going to be too complicated. Like, you'll learn from the story, but it's just, you know it. You've seen it before. Humans, orcs are, baddies. Okay. So then we've got this bug here. Combos aren't consuming both prereqs, and I think that's an issue with spiked armor, so I can probably figure that out. Not off the top of my head, but it's definitely in there somewhere. Make the changes to the upgrades that I've got on the Miro board. So these ones. I had to change Mirror Blade for Ice Shield, although I don't know if that's necessarily better. I think it's more synergistic. I think it kind of makes more sense for this game, because you can say, oh, I've got a ultimate build. It makes sense for me to get the Ice Shield, and then we don't have to worry about Mirror Blades and stuff, because I just feel like it's not that impactful. It's not as impactful as like I'm going to be able to spam my ultimates really easily, because there are builds where they're like, most of the time your ultimates, like it's going to be very slow going, but there are builds where you'll get it to happen a lot, and you'll just be able to like bam bam bam, which would be really cool. And then we changed the mummy for Mad Scientist, which I think is good. We could call it something else, but it would just basically be like a sort of scientist-looking dude with glasses and a kind of Dr. Wheatos look, or like a sort of Einstein look. Maybe I'll have his tongue sticking out in its final form, who has a lightning staff, which will just look like the normal lightning staff, and then mix that with a vampire, and you get a hemomancer, which will be like let's just call it blood mage, just to not be too fancy. And then floating, and then if we are changing this, which maybe we won't for the moment, I need to think about that. Because I was like tempted to just do away with mirror effects. I don't think the enemy should ever have mirror effects unless it's like rare. But maybe it is fun. I don't know. I mean, it's certainly more fun than just bog standard shield, and then you would have Rorim, which would be like a double return. Do I have that on my list of things to program? I mean, it's just going to be a simple exception in my new mirror script. If the mirror is called, if the tri shield ends up being a mirror, or maybe it would be a third type, like type 3, and it does the exact same effect of a return, but doubles the damage of the AoE effect that's created. Or it just reflects it twice somehow. I don't know. That's going to be tricky to code. That's why that's on my list of like annoying things that I have to program. And then new weapon features that I have to figure out and test and fix. New upgrades. And then try and like fill my roster of heroes. So that's going to be a fun design day of like designing at least a first draft of what each of the heroes look like. And then sort combo achievements, that's just like it's kind of important to have that for it's kind of important to have that for, because it is part of the gameplay. It's not just achievements, it's how you get some of the beans. Change that name and then the name change, which is a fairly big one, going on Steam and doing all of that. Seeing if I can get another chance at Next Fest, and then that's kind of coming along with a potential visual overhaul. But let's just focus on this first, and then we'll probably re demo. So I need to think. It's late in the day. I'm not going to do any more programming, and I'm not going to start big session of drawing. So what I should do is figure out what am I doing tomorrow. I can do this optimization. And then I can hit things like this. I think this combo thing is like, I don't think it's too bad. I just need to, like, I've honed in on where the problem probably is, and I think it's just spiked armor that causes the issue. Add artifacts to encyclopedia. I mean, I could just, I reckon easiest way to fix it would just be to change the name. Just call it Spiky. Just change name to Spiky. Because this has the word armor in it, I think what's happening is it's like deleting. I think that's messing with it somehow. I'm not sure exactly how. If I was, then I probably would fix the bug already, but I need to examine it and figure out why that's happening. Artifacts and stages to encyclopedia. Yeah, that's just another one of just getting into the encyclopedia and having a day of that. So I can do... So when I start tomorrow, I can do any one of these things, or I can do the new sprites. For now, I do want to have a think, and I think I'll do this mostly off stream. Do I want to... Like, healing shield... Like, would I rather have a mirror that doubles attacks back at the enemy, or a mirror that when someone attacks me, I get healed? Same with the ice shield. Do I want the mirror blade, which reflects attacks back at the enemy? Or do I want a shield which gives me mana, which has more build potential? And then for the orcs, it's like they don't really get a special shield, they just get the spike shield. And the demons, like, yeah, mirror, should they have a mirror? Because if it's a standard enemy weapon, I mean, the thing is, it's an enemy weapon, but it's not one that any of the standard units will have. And if there's just the odd enemy that has a floating mirror, that's just like one that you have to be a bit careful of. I mean, the thing is, there's not really many ways you could deal with it. Like if it was like Diablo or something, or any other game where there's an enemy that will reflect. It's like in Final Fantasy, like if an enemy has reflect, you either cast a spell on yourself, or like let's say it has a reflect that only works once, you would use a very weak spell to trigger the reflect, and then you would use a heavy spell now that reflect is gone. I mean, or the one where like, oh yeah, I'm going to make it so that I get healed. So see, that's crap. That's not very fun. Well, we programmed it into the game. We can have a bit of both. We can sort of say that actually no to this, but yes to this. So the mirror effect would be kind of uniquely a demonic thing, and something that comes from having like the artifact. It's just something. It's just a way of enhancing your shield in a more meaningful way than just speeding up its cooldown. And then floating mirror can become demon wall. Maybe those just stay the same. Maybe those just kind of, we just don't need to change that. But ice shield is good. But then we have no mirror blade. But does the human faction need a mirror blade? Which one's more cool? Can we not just have both? I'm just tentative to like add too much stuff. We can do a big update where you add more stuff, but I feel like there's a sort of balance here between weapon. It's like if we add a weapon, we have to add an ally and a talent. Otherwise, you're more likely to get a weapon. I feel like, I mean, you can do that a little bit, but just as a rule. So I shouldn't get too bogged down with design. So let's make upgrade changes. Let's just sort of put that right at the bottom so I have more time to think about it. And let's try and get... I'll pick which one to do tomorrow. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me. I think I'm going to call it a day there. It's early, but I'm kind of spinning my wheels at this point. It's a good tip, actually, for any game devs out there. Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to go do some exercise. I'd love to just jump right back into... I'd love to just jump out to do some Factorio or something, but if I'm going to finish at 3, I should go and do something productive rather than... But yeah, like if you work too long on your own, you are just going to be spinning your wheels. Like it's just too much, and especially in the long term, you'll kind of reach long term burnout quicker, and you'll have short term burnout quicker. That doesn't mean just procrastinate then, but it does mean that there's so many other things you can do that are productive besides work. So in my case, bit of exercise. Maybe if you've already done your exercise, hang out with your kids, help someone else with their stuff. Yeah, all right, nice one. Cheers. Have a good evening.